Hey everybody, I just finished crudely installing this rear camera. I'll have a link to where you can get this one in particular in the description below, but I wanted to give you a quick overview of the wiring and how I hooked all of this up. So here we go. Inside of the trunk, with all of the liner, well, not quite all of them, you only need to remove the, what I did was the left liner, as well as this, there's a plastic liner that fills in this area here that you want to remove as well. And those are all held in with little trim pop caps or bumper caps. I'm not sure what the correct term is. In addition, on the left-hand side, there's, when the liner is installed, sort of a kind of a hook that sticks out here that you can hang stuff on, and it's held in place by a single Phillips head. And after you remove that screw, you can just rotate that little hook left or right, kind of rock it out of that square hole, because it just sort of sits in this slot here and hangs on it. As far as wiring goes, what we got here is the cable that's coming from the camera, and that splits off to a power input and an RCA input, or output rather. And I've got this cable running up to the head unit up front, and this cable is our power source, and it is coming from a couple of different places. I took some scrap wiring and tapped the ground wire. There's actually two ground wires in this little harness that runs to your tag light and trunk release buttons. And I took the ground wire that's for the trunk release, and that's the second over. If you're facing it from this direction, it's going to be a black wire that's like in the second position from the left. If you short those two contacts together, you'll hear your trunk latch try to open up. So that's where my ground is coming from, and down here is the we've got our tail lights, and I'm splicing off of the green with a white stripe wire that's in this side. Ignore the colors of the wires on this end. They change as they pass through this connection, so look for the green with the white stripe on this side, and that's where you get your positive 12 volts when the car is in reverse. And then I just routed that back up here to connect to the positive input for this power source here, and then the output cable, which is just this RCA, is routed back down and right along with the rest of the trunk wiring. Lots of zip ties, which I will trim here in a little bit, and sort of underneath that seat up there. And then you can't really see it, but underneath the seat, and then just sort of jammed in here, and you can, this plastic, just pull it up a little bit and tuck that wire underneath. And moving the seat backwards and forwards really helps with this part when you're trying to get that wire tucked underneath this plastic right there. So move it forward all the way in order to tuck up the back half first, and then move it back all the way to get the rest of it. Sorry for the mess, I haven't vacuumed this thing. The wire continues up and behind this plastic, and then I have it zip tied to a couple different places, and there's an area where you can sort of tuck it in as well so it doesn't dangle. And then it's coming out. To get it up here, I actually dropped a wire down here so that it would fall, and I could tape the cable that I was trying to route up here to it and fish it up through this hole, and then pass it back down. I removed the head unit to get it better access, but pass it back down so that it comes out right here. And that is not cinched up yet. I'll be kind of tucking all this up and making it neat, but it plugs into the camera in line. I know it's a bit bright here, but so that's that. There's a bunch of other, this head unit has a couple of more than a couple other video inputs as well as auxiliary inputs and outputs. That's what all of these other RCA cables are for, but I'm only using this one for the video input, and I'll just be coiling this up in zip ties and shoving it in there. So that's about it when it comes to how to install a rear camera in a Chevy Cruze. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for watching.